Hi, in this video I am going to talk about the form, HTML form, right? So you will learn about that how we can create a form using HTML. So this would be the design of the form that I am going to create here. So before proceeding this particular topic, I would like to share an information which is actually I am providing free of cost practical training of these mentioned courses, which are HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery and PHP, and then onwards according to requirement, according to your demand, I will try to make the videos. So right now we are at HTML, and I have made few videos which are on the same channel. So if you haven't seen till now, you can go through the channel and you will definitely find those videos. And even you can also on the top side you will find the full pop-up means full link of all those videos, where you can access the whole playlist of all those videos which are uploaded till now. So now let's start. So I have already created a form, which is the output of that form is something like this. So today I am also going to create this type of form in front of you, so that you could able to know that how the form is looking and how this has been created, and the code of that form is this, right? So now I would like to delete this whole content, and then after I will try to create from start so that you could better understand. So here firstly I would mention you that these are few tags: HTML, head tag, style tag and body tag and HTML, right? Nothing else. So right now we should mention, if we want to create a form, then we have a special tag known as form tag, right? So form tag open, form tag close. So inside form tag, all those elements which are required would be included, in the sense written. So if you will see the output of this particular form right now, if you will refresh this, you will find, for example, sorry, I haven't saved this, saved right now, and now you will refresh, you will find nothing, right? So now one by one we have to create. So firstly we have to mention the name. So we have, in order to create an input box, we have an element which is input type is equal to text. So if you have some text and you want to create an input through which you want to collect the data from user, then an input element would help you out, right? And having the type text, right? And name should be, for example, I am mentioning the name, which is name, because I want to mention the name here. So input element has not a close tag, right? So now if you will see this in the output screen, once I refresh this, this has been created now. So the next element was email, and we have also again input type equal to email, right? And name equal to email. Why I am mentioning name attribute? This would be helpful when we shall try to play with database, right? Right now this has not any particular specific benefit here, right? So if you will not mention the name, then it's okay, right? So now we have created email. So if you will see the output screen, then email is also there. So right now you will find out that this email is next to the name. So we want to write under the name. So for that, what you have to do is you have to write break tag. We have br tag, which is going to help us to go to the next line. So now this has been gone to the next line, and even we have needed some space between name and email. So again one more BR tag you can put here. So in this way this has been become pretty smart and beautiful, right? So again the third element that we need to create is password. So in the password again we have to write the same input tag, and in that we have to change the type and name, right? So if you will see the output, again you will find the same thing, but we have to mention the BR tag here, right? BR tag here. So now once I refresh this, you will find this. So for example, you will put the put something inside the password. This is something like password, and if you will mention here the email, and if the email is wrong, for example @ is missing, then at the time of submit you will find error, right? So right now there would not be any error. So again the next element is phone. Actually the next input that we want to create is for phone number. So now again we would have an input, and the type would be number, because as you know that the phone number would be number. So MOB, I am writing MOB. So again you will find the output screen MOB phone. And then after we have gender. Please right now you have to focus on this particular attribute, which is gender. So in the gender what you have to do is, we have needed two inputs for male as well as female. So input type is radio, because we have needed radio button, and the name should be gender. And here we need to mention one more thing, which is value. So the value would be male. For male we are going to mentioning the name gender, and the type is radio. Similarly we needed one more thing, which is for female. So type would be same, name would be gender, and value would be female, right? So now if you will see the output, you will find that this is something like that, but this radio button should be on the upper side, right? So one more thing that we have to do is, we need to remove these break tags, and even right now we have to write here male, and underneath the hood female. So now if you will see the output, you will find something like that, right? So one thing you have to keep in mind is, once we are going to clicking male, and if we are clicking female, then you can see the switch. For example, this is something like if this is on, this would be off. If this is on, this would be off. Means a person can be either male or female, not both or not none, right? So because why this become a unique one, for example this property has been added because of name attribute. Means the name is gender, and here is also gender. So in both the cases only one gender has been taken, because through the name we can for example from name we need to click on the input type radio. So if there are two names of if there are two names which are same, so at that time only one would be selected, means one input would be taken. So which input would be taken? On means the input, the specific radio button on which you will click, means wherever you will click, that name would be taken and that value would be taken. For example, if you have clicked this radio button, then the value of that radio button would be male, and if you have clicked this radio button, then the value would be female. So according to these different values, we would differentiate both these radio buttons, right? Because maybe you would have the question that how we would differentiate that these are two radio buttons, because both of them has same name. So through the value we can differentiate both of them. So now you would have got the point that actually I want to share with you. So now gender has been created, and next part is we have gender and then hobbies, right? So for hobbies, don't you think that we should have some checkbox, because hobbies can be more than one? So now we want to create checkbox. So I'm just copying this, and here type would be checkbox, right? And name would be different. Why? Because we don't want to make them common. So for example, the name would be hobbies, singing. Actually there is no need of name here. Why? Because we are not using it for the sake of database. So right now there is not any requirement of name attribute. We have needed only value attribute, and value here would be, for example, singing, right? So here we should mention singing, and then after same thing would be under this and under this. So singing type would be same, dancing can be the hobby, and playing, right? So these are the hobbies. If you would find out the output screen, this would be the hobbies, something like this, right? So you got the point right now. So the next thing that I am going to mention is, which is courses. So as you know that wherever we fill the form, we always see the courses are in the drop down box, right? So we are also going to create a drop down. So drop down can be created using select tag, open, and select tag close, right? So inside the select tag we need to mention options, various options that we have needed. Option, open, option, close. So for example, we have needed the list of these options. 4 options I have chosen. So the value should be mentioned here, because on the basis of the value we would notice that which option you have chosen, right? So now we have to mention that the first option would be, for example, BTech. Second option can be Masters. Third option can be MBA. Fourth option can be MCA, right? So same thing can be mentioned here. For example, BTech. So in value we have also taken BTech, and here also Masters, MBA, and I have pasted here, and now MCA, that would be here. So now if you will see the output, this would be something like this: BTech, Masters, MBA, and MCA, right? So this should be on the next line, of course. So because for the sake of making it on the next line, we have to mention BR tag here. So now you will find out this. And one more thing you have mentioned, that you have to notice that in most of the cases, the courses, the first option always remain select, right? So we also have to create a select option, means in which there would not be any value. So the value attribute would be empty, no need to mention any value. So here we should write dash dash select, right? So now if you will see the output, that would be something like this: select tag and b tag, masters and MBE, right? So now our form has been completed. Now we have to create a submit button. So we have a submit button. So again we have to copy the input tag here, because the input tag is needed right now. Type equal to submit, and the value would be submit, right? And here there is no need of mentioning this. So now if you will see, this is the submit button. And one more thing you have to mention: if you want to reset the inputted value, then you can also mention all those. So type would be reset, and here value would be reset as well, right? So now let's see. So this is the output. For example, you have mentioned this name, and here something you have written. So you have written something mail, and you want to reset. Once you will click, all those things would be reset. For example, I want to fill the tag, fill this particular form. Email would be, for example, this. I haven't written any email here, means this is wrong text that is inside the email. So here there would be some password, and phone number there would be something. I have chosen mail, singing and dancing, and masters. And now if I would submit, then there would be an error. Why? Because I have mentioned the email type is email. So input type is email, so this is not an email, so this should be valid email. For example, aba@gmail.com. So now this would be valid one. If you will submit, that has been submitted, right? But we haven't any need of all these inputs right now, because of which we haven't mentioned. In the sense, we are not passing this particular data, we are not using this data, inputted data right now, because whenever we shall go through the course of PHP, then you will find out that this inputted data has some value, right? Value means this is fruitful for us, so we should collect this data and store into the database. So those concepts are little bit advanced, so no need to bother about. Right now you have to think about that this form has been created from this code, and how this code has been written you have to focus on. If you have any doubt, you can also write in the comment. One thing you have to understand from here is gender, about the gender, that we have mentioned the two names. For example, if I will mention the name property here inside the checkbox, so again you can only select one checkbox at a time. Why? Because we have make the name common. So if you have make the name common inside the radio buttons, so at a time you can select only single radio button, right? Why? Because the name is same. So from one name you can select only one thing, right? So if I would have changed this name, for example, I have written this. So if now you will select the button, select the radio button, then both of the radio buttons you can select. But if you would have same name, then you can never choose both the buttons. Why? Because only one name we have. So on the basis of selection, if you have selected this, then that particular value would be fetched, and if this you have selected, then on this radio button whichever value would be there, that would be used by you, right? So I think you have focused on this particular code, and now you are capable to make the form by your own, right? So in the next video I am going to make another form with CSS. So let me show you. This form would be like this. So I have maintained some CSS, nothing else I have added. I have only added some CSS. So in the next video you will have to you need to watch that video so that you could find out that how we can do the CSS of any particular form. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe this channel if not subscribed up till now, and like this video, and even share with the others who don't know about this particular concept, so that they could also get the help of this particular concept, right? So thanks for watching.